Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you you could buy a house with 0% down? Not 20% down, not 10%, you don't even need 3%. Zero. And no, I'm not talking about a VA loan, I'm talking about a USDA loan. USDA stands for the United States Department of Agriculture. So when I first heard USDA loan, I'm thinking rural, farms, cows. But here's the thing. You don't have to be a farmer. And rural doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means either. Because when you actually look at the USDA eligibility map, this is what surprised me. Look at how much of the country may actually be eligible. And yes, you're seeing that right. The highlighted areas are the areas that are ineligible. It's mostly the major population centers and the urban areas around them. Everything outside those highlighted areas may potentially be eligible. So when USDA says rural, we're not necessarily talking about living 50 miles from the nearest grocery store. There are areas outside major cities that you might never personally describe as rural that can potentially qualify for USDA financing. And this is where the map gets really interesting. USDA eligibility is based on this specific property address. So instead of trying to figure out whether a town is rural enough, you can actually enter the address of a home into the USDA map and see whether it's in an eligible area. You could find one house outside a major city that's eligible, while another house close to a major population center might not be. So now you might be thinking, why would the government help somebody buy a house with 0% down? There's actually a reason this program exists. The USDA wants to encourage home ownership in rural communities and make home ownership more accessible to lower and moderate income households. The idea is when more people can buy homes and put down roots in these communities, it can help support the local economy and strengthen the community itself. And one of the biggest barriers to buying a home is coming up with the down payment. So here's how USDA helps remove that barrier. With the USDA Guaranteed Loan Program, you're still getting your mortgage through an approved lender, but USDA provides a guarantee covering up to 90% of the original loan amount. That reduces some of the lender's risk and allows qualified borrowers to finance up to 100% of the home. That's where the 0% down comes from. Obviously, they're not giving everybody in America a 0% down mortgage. There are rules. First, like we talked about, the property has to be in an eligible area. Second, this has to be your primary residence. So this loan program isn't for buying an Airbnb, a vacation home, or your next investment property. Third, there are household income limits. For the USDA Guaranteed Loan Program, your household income generally can't exceed 115% of the median household income for the area. And that's important because the limit isn't just one number for the entire country. It depends on where you're buying and your household. And of course, you still have to actually qualify for the mortgage. 0% down does not mean there's zero qualification involved. Here's another thing that surprised me. With the USDA Guaranteed Loan Program, there's no set sales price or loan amount limit. So there's not one USDA rule that says you can't buy a house over this price. Instead, how much you can actually borrow is going to be limited by things like your income, your ability to qualify for the payment, and the appraised value of the property. So don't confuse no set price limit with an unlimited budget. There's one important distinction here. 0% down doesn't mean buying a house costs literally $0. There can still be closing costs and other expenses associated with buying the home. USDA loans also have guarantee fees. So when you hear that a USDA loan is 0% down, we're specifically talking about the down payment requirement. But think of what that could actually mean for you. Maybe you're still renting, your lease isn't up yet, you have a good job, maybe you even work remotely. You can comfortably afford a monthly mortgage payment, but you haven't saved tens of thousands of dollars for a down payment. So you just assume buying a home isn't an option yet. With the USDA loan, that down payment might not be the thing holding you back. Or maybe you automatically assume the area where you wanted to live wouldn't be considered rural. Don't assume, check, because you might be surprised. I've put the official USDA property eligibility map in the description below, so you can check the area where you're thinking about buying. And subscribe to Loans with Drew for weekly home buying and mortgage questions explained simply with a little Hollywood. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.